Hi, everyone. It's Lori Alvarez. Good morning. How is everyone doing? I love it. It's Friday morning. There's cool things happening. It's the holiday. And I was just reviewing the Laverne stats. Really love when I get the opportunity to review the Laverne stats, just hyperlocal stats altogether, and see what's happening. Because we have so many people right now who are considering purchasing a property from out of the country, out of the state. Can you just imagine that you're across the globe and you're just like dreaming about owning real estate here in the States? Like, for those of you who are already dreaming about it because you're here in the States and you're like, I believe it's completely impossible. Just imagine what that audience, those people are thinking. I'm just I just think it's thrilling when anyone is dreaming about owning real estate. I know I am. I posted the other day, if you're following me on any of my crazy social media, I posted the other day like my Christmas wish list. And it was a PS, mommy and daddy are going to buy an investment property for 2025. That's one of our big, big goals. We want to get another one. And why would that be so important now? Well, everyone just keeps talking about how pricing is going to continue to rise. I remember when I purchased my first property about 20 years ago or so, right around there. Yes, right. My kid's 27. We bought our first house when he was like 5, I think. So maybe 22 years ago. Or he just turned 28. That's right. The other day, he just turned 28. Anyways, with that said, our first house was $169,000. $169,000. That same house today, is about $750,000 here in actually San Dimas, which is right next door to us. That's where I reside and office. My office is right here in Old Town Laverne, right next to University of Laverne. So you want a great college? This is a college town. Love the University of Laverne. I get to speak over with the international students a couple times a year. And it's just amazing, the information, all of the things they share with me. Their interest rates in Brazil, one of them was sharing with me, their interest rates in Brazil are like, what the heck, 18% or something like that, or 13%. They're like, gosh, your interest rates are so cheap compared to us in Brazil. Could you just imagine, right? We're all complaining about interest rates being 6%, 6.5%. And everywhere else, their interest rates are potentially higher than us. I just find that completely energizing because you know what? Here's the deal. Like, it is so possible to buy real estate. And the way we will own real estate is going to change in the future. We are going to see so many different new things happening with real estate and the way people will own. So many people are busy saying, oh, our younger generation's never going to be able to own a property. Sure, they will. They're going to own it differently, though. They're just going to own it differently. Unless, of course, we allow the government to take our right of homeownership away. So that's why we must pay attention. We must pay attention to the bills and the laws and everything that gets submitted to the government for us to vote on. We must have an understanding of what is happening with our real estate here locally for us. I mean, one of the biggest challenges out there right now that everyone keeps talking about is the millionaire property tax when you sell your property. The sales tax, I don't remember what they called it. I read about it just a bit ago. But if you have properties that are at 3, 4, 5, and 6 million bucks, woo, the tax on that, could you just imagine you're selling that property? I mean, if someone's liquidating one of those properties, I wonder what the reason be if they're liquidating that. I'm reading a Sunny Boy right now, right? And it's Al Pacino's memoir. And one of the part of the book that I'm in right now, I know I'm probably all over the place, and yet I think this is also relevant and so important. I'm reading it right now. Totally recommend it as a read, by the way. I'm almost finished with it. So thrilled I read it. Anyways, I love this portion. Al Pacino says at some point he's like 70 years old, right? And as of today of this recording, Al Pacino, it is my understanding, he's 86 years old and actively out there promoting his book. And I'm going to support him and promote his book too. I love it, read it. It is great. And what I loved that he just put in it and shared with the world was when he was around 70, um, he was not actively involved in what was happening with his financial situation. He was trusting the professionals he hired around him. And guess what? All his money was gone when he was 70. And so we think, oh, well, he's a millionaire. Yeah. In order for him to recover from that, he had to sell one of his properties and at 70, get back to work in the acting and entertainment field. Could you imagine being 70 and having to be like, what? I mean, what roles are out there for him? Well, he found them and he's still thriving and surviving because that's who he is. And could you just imagine if he had to sell one of those 5 million, 6 million, $20 million properties today and the tax he would pay the government when he is down and out? I know you probably don't have the compassion and empathy, and maybe you do. I totally do because I understand. I have the IRS all over Lori Alvarez right now. It is just my world, and I'm not going to complain. I'm going to get into what's happening with what do you need to do to buy an investment property here in the States, right? What is needed? Well, look, one of the things you need to know is you need to know the average pricing in the neighborhood. You need to know like what is going on for the pricing in a neighborhood specifically, right? What if I want to buy in that neighborhood? What is the average price point? What does it look like to purchase a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, or a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, or a 6-bedroom, or a condo, whatever it be? And then once you know what the average pricing is, you've got to go like look at it and go, well, okay, is the return on investment there? Does it make sense, right? I was just talking with one of my agents this morning about that. They were asking to see a property, and I'm like, well, have you reviewed that payment? Do you know what that payment looks like for that particular property? Because, a lot of people right now buy real estate by the payment, not by the actual investment they're purchasing. And so the payment needs to be understood. And that is one of the reasons why you will want to make sure you connect with a fantastic lender who has the heart of a teacher and can help you make those decisions, right? And if you need that referral, feel free to reach out to us. We have some great lender partners that we love, cheer on, are thrilled to be in business with. And they support us, we support them, and we know they will take great care of you, right? So the process for foreign buyers, right? The process for foreign buyers. Can you purchase a property here in the great old US of A? You better believe you can. Yes, you can, right? There are some financial and legal requirements though, right? So you're like, well, what are those? What do I need to know? Well, okay, a couple of things that you also want to know that I think is completely so important. is the cost of living in the area. You do need to know what the cost of living is, right? How much does it cost to live here? I know when my father relocated from, where did he relocated from LA when I was 18 to Colorado. And let me tell you, my daddy, he's a rock star when it comes to money. He's taught me so much. And the standard of living is, as they say, lower over there. And so life was just really different for him. In the long term of things, it did not make sense. And so he did come back to back here to California. And now again, he's made another big life move, only because of his life circumstance. Only reason why. So when you're shifting like that, you really want to get an idea of what is the cost of living. And generally, they say when you're going to purchase a property, you take about a year to make this decision. So, pay attention to that for the next year. Pay attention to what's happening for the cost of living. What does inflation look like in California? What does the world look like in California financially, right? We're so expensive here, in my opinion. Everything is so expensive. I was talking to a lady the other day who was just in, I think she said she was in Japan. And she said there was a part of Japan she was visiting. And she said, you could go out to dinner and take a family to dinner for $100. And it was great food. You cannot take a family of 4 to dinner here for $100 and have great food, right? Sure, you can take a family to dinner for $100 and have all right food, in my opinion, anyways. So I don't know, maybe I'm just not shopping or going to the right restaurants. Maybe you know differently. Comment down below. Tell me where you can get great dinner for 4 for under $100. And that's restaurant dining, right? So anyways, cost of living is so important. And then we're going to talk about the lifestyle. What is the quality of life like here locally in Laverne, San Dimas, Glendora, Claremont? What is it like? What do we do? One of my favorite things about being in Old Town Laverne is that everything is so walkable. Every day now, since I've moved my office here, I get to walk to a local restaurant, have a great lunch, walk to a local boutique vendor, walk around the corner to Mickey's Jewelry. They're just around the corner. She was a rock star and saved me the other day when I needed a ring repair, right? Like everything is so walkable, so enjoyable in Old Town Laverne. I love that. Same thing over in Claremont too. Everything is so walkable. There is amazing, amazing opportunities over there. Great food, great stores, all kinds of good things, movies, all kinds of things happening. So lifestyle, you really want to know what is the lifestyle. If you're used to being able to walk everywhere, you want to be somewhere where it's walkable, right? Schools and universities. Oh my gosh, do we have so many schools and university? I'm going to again pump up University of Laverne's just behind me over here. There's the Claremont colleges just that direction over there. There's Mount Sac just up the road, Citrus. There's all types of opportunities for junior college and university. And our schools, do not forget our schools, the younger generation, our schools. Bonita Unified, I love that I get to be part of their yearly announcing what they're going to do with the school district for the year, and they share all their stats. Bonita Unified is in like the top 10%, top 7% of school districts in the area. So big shout out to all our school teachers out there and our administrative staff. They are rocking and rolling with our students. We have such a huge demographic of different types of youth in our community. And I can personally share that for being a mother of 4 beautiful sons. And you didn't know, at one point, I was a junior high youth pastor too, right? My husband and I did that for quite a few years, and we loved working with the junior high kids. That was a blast. All right. So moving into cultural adaptation, right? Cultural adaptation, definitely something to take into consideration when you're going to purchase a property in a completely different state, country, like whew, cultural. I've had clients who did, just like I mentioned earlier, if you were listening earlier, I mentioned how my dad moved to Colorado, and though he loved it there, it just wasn't a good fit for him. He ended up coming back here and stayed here. And I've had other clients who've done it too. So I always tell my clients, when you're talking about moving out of state, let's sit down and put together a calendar. Let's sit down and talk about what that looks like. Last 2 years ago, 2 Januaries ago, I sat down with a client in January to prepare for their sale of their home in October to go to Florida. And they're going to build up a beautiful church and congregation out there. I love that. They're doing that currently now. They're so happy they moved that direction. And we just put together their lifestyle plan for what was going to happen over the next year. What were the things we needed to do to get their property ready for market so we could hit it, put it on the market in October, and get it sold and get them moved, right? That is what it talks about, right? You're making these moves. You've got to check out the communities, very much so. That particular client went and visited Florida, enjoyed it, checked it out. I had another client who wanted to retire in Florida, and heck no, they did not like it at all. They came back, right? So you definitely want to check out the communities and see what the cultural adaptation is going to be like. Check out the facilities that are available to you, right? You'll want to make sure that I always say, I know I'm crazy. I always say, oh, you don't know if you like the neighborhood? Go to the grocery store. Do you like the grocery store? The other day, I was in Laguna. If you don't know, I box in the morning, 5 a.m. In Laguna Beach, over at Laguna Beach. Anyways, I was like, I'm going to go do my Thanksgiving grocery shopping over at the Vaughn's Pavilions out there. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to give a big shout out to them over there. They are so sweet, so amazing, so helpful, so cheerful, and so courteous. Like, good job, Vaughn's Pavilion staff over there in Laguna Beach. You guys are rock stars, and I am super grateful I got to experience it, because I like my local market here, but they just were like, this was their only impression they had to make on me, like a one moment, and boy, did they impress the socks out of me. So facilities, check out the facilities in the neighborhood. Then we go into employment opportunities. Well, if you're coming to stay, then you need work. And if you need work, you definitely need to know what's happening with the local job market. You want to know, what opportunities do I have with the local job market when I make my move to where I'm going? Because you're not going to get a home loan without a job, right? And so you can't make that purchase happen without a job. Some other things to consider too is short-term stays or rentals, right? You could turn the property into a rental property. You just really need to talk with the city and the local agent for those regulations, and the county. There's so many restrictions when it comes to short-term rentals and rental properties. So you really need to have an awareness and dig deep into that. If you buy and the property is in what's called an HOA and you want to turn it into a short-term rental, you really need to understand what the rules and regs are about that. Now, I'm going to say as your agent, well, you're going to find that out during your disclosure period. And if you get to know the neighbors in the neighborhood, maybe you rent in that community a little bit, visit, come from the out of state, out of the country, and you just stay in the neighborhood you want to purchase in, rent in that community and talk with those people. They really give you their one-on-one perspective of what's happening. So, so important. You're really talking with the neighbors. I always say, if you want to know what's happening with a house or a neighborhood, just knock on the neighbor's house or door, one or two doors over. They always know. There's always someone in the neighborhood who knows about everything happening in the neighborhood. And I'm going to tell you, I'm grateful for that person, because you never know when you need them. So another thing to take into consideration is the legal and financial guidance, right? Mortgage for foreign nationals. What are your options for financing a home to purchase as a non-US citizen? So many opportunities out there. There are portfolio loans seem to be the biggest thing that people are using. They are non-conforming to any particular mandates. You have to find a lender who's very skilled in them and can help you with them. And then I'm going to move into tax implications, right? You really need to know what the real estate tax implications are for any foreign buyer. You've got to know those details. So again, if you want to know if you can purchase a property here in Laverne, California, or San Dimas, or Claremont, or Glendora, or anywhere here locally, reach out to the professional of your choice, someone who is going to be able to just take the time to talk with you, and someone who knows what's happening. I mean, you want to make sure they know what's happening. The local stats right now here in Laverne, right? Currently, we're standing at 1.42 months worth of inventory. So we're up. Our inventory is up just slightly. It's very interesting to see what's happening. And when a property goes on the market, if priced right, when priced right, it should sell at its list price and maybe just a smidge above. And our median sold price for the neighborhood in general is just over $1 million, right? So you may be saying like, wow, I don't know if I can buy in Laverne, California or Claremont. I don't know if I can make that happen. I'm going to say you won't know until you talk with the real estate professional that you love to work with. And I do say love to work with, because when the transaction gets turbulent, when the transaction gets hard, you want to be able to just have a great conversation with them and know that they are on your side, helping you succeed in your real estate portfolio dreams, wishes, and desires. I know that's probably too emotional for some of you, but not me. That's how I feel over here at Real Estate Resolved. Again, you need to verify all this information with the professional of your choice. This is just my recommendation. I've been doing it for about just over 20 years, and I absolutely love what I do. Thanks so much. Have an amazing end of year. 2025 is going to rock. I'm going to buy my investment property. What about you?